Good evening, and welcome to Simply Raw News. Tonight, a mystery that has neighbors asking one chilling question. How well do you really know the people next door? It started with something small, a light that never turned off. According to residents, the home had always been quiet. A single man kept to himself, rarely seen, rarely heard. But over the past few weeks, things changed. Lights on at all hours, unusual sounds late at night, and packages, lots of them, are being delivered and quickly taken inside. Neighbors say they tried to ignore it until one night, everything went silent. No lights, no movement, nothing. Concerned, one neighbor decided to call for a welfare check. When authorities arrived, what they found raised more questions than answers. The home was nearly empty. No furniture, no personal belongings, just a single room, with walls covered in notes, printed photos, and maps marked with circles and lines. And in the center of the room, a chair, facing the wall. Authorities have not released full details, but confirm an investigation is now underway. The man who lived there? Nowhere to be found. And neighbors say they haven't seen him since the night everything went quiet. Tonight's question: was this just a man living in isolation or something far more unsettling? I'm Mandolin, reporting for Simply Raw News.
Good evening, and welcome back to Simply Raw News. I'm your news anchor, Terrell Fairplay, reporting. In a previous segment, we learned of a developing story that took place in the Dream City Park suburban neighborhood of Everglendale. We now return to our developing story, one that has taken a truly unexpected turn. Authorities have now identified the central figure as 15-year-old Eric Shoulderbeam, a quiet teenager who, as it turns out, had been hiding a secret. According to investigators, Eric had been raising a lion cub inside his home and keeping it hidden in his bedroom for months, unbeknownst to anyone, including his mother. Over time, that cub grew, silently, steadily, into a full-grown lion, and eventually, the secret became too big to contain. Earlier this week, while Eric was at school, that lion reportedly escaped his room and followed Eric's scent all the way to campus. Sources say the animal somehow made its way directly to Eric's classroom, entering quietly through the back door, completely unnoticed. But what happened next changed everything. Witnesses report that one of Eric's classmates, described as a frequent bully, had been kicking Eric's chair during class, something students say had been an ongoing issue. Without warning, the lion lunged. The student was yanked from his seat and bolted out of the classroom in sheer panic. Seconds later, the room erupted as reality hit, and students realized what they were witnessing. Another student, also accused of harassing Eric, continued throwing objects, seemingly unaware of the danger unfolding behind him. That's when the lion moved again. Eric reportedly attempted to restrain the animal, but the situation rapidly got out of his control. The second student managed to escape, but by then, the entire classroom had witnessed the unimaginable. In a scene described as surreal, the lion then calmly turned and followed Eric out of the classroom and all the way back home. No further attacks were reported. While no serious injuries have been confirmed at this time, this incident has sparked major concerns about safety, accountability, and how something of this magnitude could go unnoticed for so long. School officials are now reviewing security protocols, and authorities are actively investigating how a full-grown lion was able to move through a residential area and onto school grounds without immediate detection. As for Eric, questions remain. Was this an act of desperation from a bullied teen, or a dangerous situation that could have ended far worse? Either way, one thing is certain: This is not a story anyone in that classroom will ever forget. Brooklyn Peters, a student witness, had this to say.
That lion wasn't playing. It went straight for the guy who always messed with Eric. And honestly, people were really scared. But, OMG, that was some serious karma. That dude was about to be lunch, for real.
We'll continue to follow this developing situation and bring you updates as more information becomes available. Reporting for Simply Raw News, I'm Terrell Fairplay.
At Westbrook Office Plaza, employees began noticing their food disappearing from the break room fridge. At first, it was brushed off. Simple mistake, someone grabbed the wrong container. But then it kept happening, every day, at the same time, between 12:10 and 12:20 p.m. Full meals, gone. No mess, no evidence, just missing. Frustration turned into suspicion. Suspicion turned into a quiet investigation. One employee finally set up a small hidden camera. And what they discovered? Nobody was stealing the food. At least, not the way you'd expect. The footage showed the break room door opening slightly, but no one walking in. Then, one by one, containers slid right off the shelf, dropped, opened, and emptied. No person, no hands, just movement. Management reviewed the footage, believing it was a glitch, until the same thing happened again and again. By the third recording, the office had seen enough. The company shut down the break room temporarily and brought in maintenance. Turns out, a section of the wall behind the fridge had been hollowed out. Inside, a hidden crawl space. And living inside that space, for weeks, was a former overnight janitor who had quietly lost his housing and never left the building. He had learned the timing, the routines, the blind spots, slipping in through the wall, taking only what he needed to eat, and disappearing before anyone returned. No violence, no confrontation, just survival, hidden in plain sight. Authorities were called, but instead of charges, the company made a different move. They connected him with housing assistance and offered him a supervised position back on staff. The break room is back open. The food, no longer missing. And the employees, they're labeling their lunches a little differently now. Not do not touch, but take it if you need it. This is Simply Raw News, where sometimes the real story isn't what was taken, but why.